Hello everyone, welcome back to the new video of EP Knowledge Point. Imagine the year is not 1999, but in the near future. A soldier is positioned high in the Himalayas, but this time the soldier is not looking through binoculars. A drone is already watching the valley. A satellite is tracking movement hundreds of kilometers away. Artificial intelligence is processing thousands of images. A command center receives information in real time. An unmanned aircraft moves ahead of the soldiers, and somewhere far away, a precision weapon is waiting for a command. This is no longer the battlefield of Kargil. This is the battlefield of tomorrow. But there is one question: is India ready for it? From Bofors guns to drones, from mountain warfare to space, from human intelligence to artificial intelligence, the nature of war is changing faster than ever, and India's defense transformation is entering a completely new phase. This is the future of Indian defense. The battlefield has changed. Go back to 1999. The Kargil battlefield was dominated by infantry, artillery, aircraft, and mountain warfare. Soldiers physically climbed mountains to identify and attack enemy positions. Today, technology can provide commanders with information before soldiers even reach the battlefield. Satellites can observe terrain. Drones can provide aerial surveillance. Radars can detect aircraft and missiles. Electronic systems can interfere with the communications. Cyber capabilities can target digital infrastructure, and artificial intelligence can help process enormous amounts of information. The battlefield is becoming faster, more connected, more precise, and potentially more autonomous. The drone revolution. One of the biggest changes in modern warfare is happening in the sky. Not with fighter jets, but with machines that can be much smaller. That is, drones. A relatively inexpensive unmanned aircraft can potentially perform missions that previously required much larger and more expensive platforms. Surveillance, reconnaissance, target identification, logistics, and in some cases, precision attacks. The experience of recent conflicts around the world has demonstrated how dramatically drones can influence warfare. India is therefore investing increasing attention in unmanned systems. But there is another side to the drone revolution: counter drones. Because if one side has drones, the other side needs technology capable of detecting and defeating them. The future battlefield could therefore become a constant contest: drone versus counter drone. Loitering munitions. Imagine a weapon that can remain airborne, search for a target, and wait for the right opportunity. These systems are commonly described as loitering munitions. They combine characteristics of drones and precision weapons. They are becoming increasingly important in modern warfare. For India, such technology has particular relevance. The mountains that made Kargil so difficult can also make conventional surveillance challenging. Small unmanned systems can potentially provide commanders with information in places where larger aircraft cannot easily operate. The soldier on the ground gets another set of eyes and sometimes another weapon. Artificial intelligence. But drones create something else, that is, data, lots of it. A modern surveillance system can produce enormous amounts of imagery and information. A human cannot examine everything instantly. This is where artificial intelligence becomes important. AI can help analyze images, patterns, movement, terrain, and other information. Thousands of satellite images. Instead of manually examining every image, AI assisted system could identify unusual patterns and direct analysis towards areas requiring attention. But AI also creates new risk. A wrong algorithmic assessment can have serious consequences. So the future will not necessarily be humans versus AI. It will increasingly be humans working with the AI. The soldier of tomorrow. What will an Indian soldier look like in the future? The basic requirements will remain the same: discipline, courage, physical fitness, and leadership. But the soldier may also have access to technologies that previous generations could not imagine. Digital battlefield displays, secure communications, advanced night vision systems, unmanned support vehicles, wearable sensors, real time location information, and direct access to information from drones and satellites. The individual soldier could become more connected to the entire battlefield network. The concept is often described as network centric warfare. Every sensor can potentially contribute information. Every unit can potentially receive relevant information, and commanders can make decisions using a much broader picture of the battlefield. Space, the new high ground. For centuries, armies fought for high ground. A mountain gave an army an advantage, but today there is a higher ground known as space. Satellites support navigation, communications, weather information, surveillance, and other strategic functions. Modern militaries increasingly depend on space based systems. That means protecting space capabilities is becoming increasingly important. India has already demonstrated significant space capabilities, but the future will demand more. Better satellites, more resilient communications, improved surveillance, and the ability to protect critical space infrastructure. The mountains of Kargil taught India the importance of knowing what was happening on the ground. The future battlefield may require knowing what is happening from space. Cyber warfare. Now imagine a war where the first attack does not involve a missile. There is no explosion, no aircraft, no tank. Instead, computer networks stop working, communications are disrupted, financial systems are attacked, critical infrastructure is targeted, military networks are threatened. This is the world of cyber warfare. Modern national security therefore extends far beyond traditional military forces. A country must defend its government networks, military system, communications, power infrastructure, and critical digital system. The battlefield is no longer only physical, it is also digital. Electronic warfare. There is another invisible battlefield, the electromagnetic spectrum. Radars, communications, navigation systems, data links. Modern militaries depends on electromagnetic signals. Control those signals and you can potentially disrupt the enemy's ability to see, communicate, or coordinate. Electronic warfare is therefore becoming increasingly important. The future battlefield may contain attacks that soldiers cannot see. No explosion, no bullet, just silence. A radar that stops working. A communication system that suddenly disappears. A navigation signal that becomes unreliable. This is one of the least visible, but most important, dimensions of modern warfare. Missiles are getting faster. Now we come to one of the most challenging areas of defense technology, hypersonic weapons. Hypersonic systems operate at extremely high speeds and can present difficult detection and interception challenges. Major military powers are investing heavily in this technology. India is also pursuing hypersonic research and development. The objective is not simply speed, it is about combining speed, flexibility, range, precision, and survivability. The missile race of the future may not simply be about who has the longest range, it may be about who can detect, decide, and strike first. The oceans. India's geography makes maritime security extremely important. The Indian Ocean connects major global trade routes. Energy supplies move through the region. Commercial shipping depends on secure sea lanes, and India's economic future is closely connected with maritime trade. This makes naval power increasingly important. Aircraft carriers, submarines, maritime patrol aircraft, unmanned underwater systems, long range missiles, and space based surveillance. The future of Indian Navy will increasingly operate as a part of a wider network. The ocean itself becomes a giant battlefield. Autonomous systems. A battlefield where not every vehicle requires a human sitting inside it. Unmanned ground vehicles, autonomous drones, unmanned surface vessels, underwater systems, and robotic logistics. These technologies could perform dangerous or repetitive missions. A machine could potentially carry supplies through dangerous terrain. A drone could inspect an area before soldiers enter. An unmanned vehicle could operate where sending a human would be unnecessarily risky. But autonomy raises a difficult question. How much decision making should machines have? That debate will become increasingly important. India's defense industry. Technology alone is not enough. India needs an ecosystem capable of turning ideas into deployable systems. That means scientists, engineers, startups, universities, public sector companies, private sector companies, armed forces, and testing institutions. The defense industry of tomorrow will not be built by one organization. It will require thousands of specialists. And this is where India's growing defense manufacturing ecosystem becomes important. The next generation. The most important defense technology of tomorrow may not yet exist. A student studying engineering today could design it. A young scientist could develop it. A startup could commercialize it. A researcher could solve a problem that currently seems impossible. This is why defense modernization is not only about weapons, it is about education, research, innovation, manufacturing, skills, and most importantly, people. From Kargil to the future. Connect the entire story. 1999 Kargil. Indian soldiers climbing mountains. The enemy had occupied heights. India had to fight its way back. The war exposed gaps. India began reforming. Surveillance improved. Jointness became more important. Defense production expanded. Indigenous technology advanced. New aircraft entered service. New warships were built. Missile technology progressed. Space capabilities expanded. Drones became increasingly important. And now, AI, cyber, autonomous systems, and hypersonic technology are becoming part of the future defense conversation. The journey is remarkable, but it is not complete. The big question: can India become a leading defense technology power? Not simply a country that manufactures weapons, but a country that designs the technology of tomorrow. Can India develop world class fighter aircrafts, engines, missiles, drones, radars, AI systems, space technologies, cyber capabilities, and autonomous platforms? Can India become not only self reliant but globally competitive? That is the challenge of the next generation. The soldiers of Kargil fought with the technology available to them. They climbed mountains, carried rifles, relied on artillery, depended on aircraft, and above everything, they depended on each other. The soldiers of future may fight differently. They may receive information from satellites, operate alongside autonomous systems, may use AI assisted intelligence, control drones from thousands of kilometers away. But one thing will remain unchanged. Behind every technology, there will still be a human being: a soldier, a pilot, a sailor, a scientist, an engineer, a technician, a citizen. Because technology can change the battlefield, but the purpose remains the same: to protect the nation. From the mountains of Kargil, India learned how important it is to see the battlefield. Then it learned how important it is to build the weapons. And now India is entering a battlefield where information itself can become a weapon. Drones, artificial intelligence, space, cyber warfare, hypersonic technology, the future of warfare is arriving faster than we think. So, if you want to understand how these technologies could shape India's future, subscribe to AP Knowledge Point because our journey doesn't end here. The next battle may not begin with a gunshot, it may begin with a signal. So, till then, see you in the next episode. Jai Hind.